Good evening. This is Dr. Norma Thomas, your instructor for Social Work 505, and this is the first overview video for week 1. If you go into the modules and click week 1, you will see first this overview, and it indicates that this course has been developed hoping that students will gain a strong foundation of the skills and understanding of the helping relationship in order to build skills and knowledge and give you a base prior to initiating field practice. And first you will see a short video by Ms. Patricia Fletcher, who at the time of this video was the Director of Field Education, and Dr. Jennifer Cullen, who at the time of this video was the Assistant MSW Program Director and an Assistant Professor. So I encourage you to take a look at that video. The learning objectives for the week are as follows: to critically evaluate the theoretical basis of generalist social work practice and its associated concepts, to demonstrate an understanding of a generalist strengths-based approach in working with client groups, to describe the core values of the social work profession and apply ethical principles in resolving ethical dilemmas, to demonstrate an understanding of a strengths perspective in working with socially and economic disadvantaged client populations, and to conduct client systems assessments from an ecosystems and strengths perspective. So if you click on week 1 learning resources, you will see a number of reading assignments for the week. So the first is chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 from John Pullen et al., a strengths-based generalist practice, a collaborative approach. So you can click on the link and you will get to the chapters. The second set of assignments are also 1, 3, and 4, but this is from the Schulman text, the skills of helping individuals, families, groups, and organizations. So hopefully you have purchased that text. Next, you will get to the various learning discussions for the week. So the first discussion post says, in order to get to know one another, each of you are being asked to record a video introduction. Your introduction should be 1 to 2 minutes, so it's short and should include the following. Identify 3 assets that you bring to the class and how those assets will help you and your classmates learn about generalist social work. Please remember to speak slowly and clearly so that you can be understood, and we all look forward to meeting each other. And there's a video on how to do that recording. And then you're required to respond to at least one of your classmates that do not already have a response. So your initial post is due by Thursday. Your follow-up response is due between Friday and Saturday. The next discussion post is requiring you to review the ethical dilemmas handout. You can get to it by clicking on this link. And the problem solving for ethical dilemmas handout. So look at those 2 handouts. Post a response to one of the dilemmas and explain what you believe the ethical solution to be. Be sure to refer to the Code of Ethics as a framework for your response. And with this one, you will not see other responses until you've posted to the discussion. You are then to follow up on at least one classmate's initial post, and you are to indicate what you have learned from your classmates' post and what can you add to their learning regarding the ethical dilemma. So again, the initial post is due by Thursday. The follow-up is due between Friday and Sunday. The third assignment for the week is to do something called a media space test. Media space, you're going to be using media space for some of your video recordings, and this is just asking you to go to media space and make sure that you understand how to do media space, and for that you get 1 point. An additional quiz asks you to look at plagiarism, and it's important to understand plagiarism, what can or would not get you into trouble. Using somebody else's work without at least referencing that it's not your work can be seen as plagiarism, so please take a note of that. So those are your assignments for the week. Yes, those are all your assignments for the week. I would now like to go over a PowerPoint that explains some of the concepts from the readings for this week. It does not excuse you from doing the reading because the reading gives a more complete overview of the concepts, but attempts to put all of the various readings together in this brief PowerPoint. The PowerPoint that the definition of generalist social work practice. Practitioners work with individuals, families, groups, communities, and organizations in a variety of ways. In terms of generalist social work practice, it views clients and client systems from a strengths perspective, uses a problem-solving process to engage, assess, broker, advocate, counsel, educate, and organize with and on behalf of clients and their systems, engages in community and organizational development, and then evaluates the service outcomes. Use of self is important in the helping relationship. So this refers to the social worker's interpersonal skills and interactions with the client and the client system. Social workers intervene by means of the helping relationship to assist systems in achieving identified goals. And research says that the strongest predictor of client change is the quality of that helping relationships. So social workers use self to communicate understanding, hopefulness, sensitivity, partnership, respect, support, acceptance, commitment, empathy, confidence, and our cooperative intentions. Strength-based generalist social work practice uses an ecosystems perspective, which we'll talk about in a minute, focuses assessment and intervention on problematic transactions between individuals and their environment. These transactions become the target system that the client and the worker seek to change, and a client system can be the individual client, the family, the group, the organization, or the community from whence that client comes. Cultural issues should always be taken into consideration when working with clients. 9 times out of 10, we're working with people who are different from us in some ways. It could be race and gender, but it could also be rural versus urban, different kinds of experiences. It could be the gamut of why somebody is different from us. So we have to bear in mind that difference. In terms of the first bullet, it indicates that these differences could be infinite. So it could be values, perspective, and experiences, and those differences, if we let them get in the way, can create barriers to communication and trust. So it's our responsibility as the helper to acknowledge these differences and to seek ways to communicate that we respect our clients, their values, and belief systems. And in working with people who have been oppressed in some ways, we have to acknowledge their perceptions and experiences in relation to the dominant culture. So, core values. Core values include, now I'm going to move the PowerPoint over a little bit. Core values include, and these are from our Code of Ethics: service to others, social justice, human dignity and self-worth, importance of human relationships, integrity, and competence. So a postmodernist perspective, I think I'm going to go ahead and reduce this screen again. A postmodernist perspective, because there are a number of theories for this week, highlights the importance of clients' subjective perceptions of their experiences, places clients in the role of expert about their own life, recognizes that our clients' perceptions of their experiences are shaped by culture and social environment, views the ongoing dialogue between social worker and client as fundamental to the change process, requires an open discussion of the social workers and clients' values and beliefs, recognizes that meaning is developed through the process of interaction, and stresses the collaborative aspects of the client-worker relationship. In terms of theoretical perspectives and an ecosystems perspective, so the heart of this perspective is the person and environment, which views individuals and their environments as an interrelated whole. People come from communities, they are influenced by family, organizations, religious institutions, all kinds of manner of influences that come from the communities and the environments from which they either originate or currently live. So individuals are perceived as interacting with a variety of external systems. Some of the principles of a strengths perspective include that every individual, group, family, and community has strengths. Trauma may be a source of challenge, but also opportunity. Assumes that you do not know the upper limits of the capacity to grow and change, and aspirations should be taken seriously. We best serve clients by collaborating with them. Every environment, if it has challenges, also has resources, and caring, caretaking, and context are all very important. Attachment theory is another theory, and it says that the attachment process lies at the center of the human experience throughout the lifespan. 4 forms of childhood attachment include security, insecurity, avoidant, insecure, anxious, resistant, and disorganized. And the readings will explain those more. The 4 commonly used classifications of adult patterns of attachment are secure, dismissive, preoccupied, and unresolved. The collaborative process focuses on strengths, puts clients in charge, and work is continuously evaluated. And speaking of the evaluation process, specifically the client's problems and goals, specifies the client's problems and goals clearly, uses multiple measures for each objective, collects information that's relevant versus convenient, collects information early in the course of the work with the client, uses good, accurate measures, organizes the data, and of course gets the client's consent. Measurement tools include client logs, behavioral observations, rating scales, goal attainment scales, standardized measures, or single system designs. The contracting process, after we do our introduction and assessment, ensures that we are reflecting accurately on identified issues, reflecting on the reasons behind the issue, so that's our hypothesis, that we are agreeing on what issues we will be working to resolve, developing goals, establishing objectives or the plan of action, taking action steps, planning on the evaluation, and then summarizing that contact. And the last 2 pages are the references for the material in this PowerPoint that are taken predominantly from the readings for this week. So if you have any questions about the readings or the assignments for this week, please let me know. Email me as quickly as possible. Canvas is the easiest way to get me through that email. Or again, you can always email me at norma.thomas13@gmail.com. I look forward to reading your post this week. And again, if you have any questions, please email me as quickly as possible. Have a wonderful week.